Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Lewis. I'm the CEO of Smart Action, an artificial intelligence-based self-service platform. This is the second video in a series of various topics around call center improvement. This one covers AI and its impact on customer experience. The first one I recommend you listen to, which covered AI broadly. But we're going to peel back the onion a little bit and go into the next sort of relevance from customer service perspective, which is how does AI impact customer experience? And I think it's a combination of things, both customer experience and customer effort. So let's sort of break them apart a little bit. So from a customer experience perspective, the key element is how to use data to personalize the experience with a particular consumer. One example that I like to use is in the healthcare arena. Imagine that you're calling in and you've authenticated, and then the system says, are you calling about that explanation of benefits we sent last week or something else? Well, the intelligence associated with that means that two things. One, there's a historical record of the activity that you have or your relationship with that health plan. That's number one. And number two is enough statistical analytics around the things that occur in the call center that lead to an outcome. So for example, one of my favorite activities as we go through the evaluation and prospecting with our clients is we do something called a call study. And so let me keep with the health plan example. We would sit down with supervisors and say, after sitting down with the agents and trying to understand their environment, sit down with the supervisors and say, if I gave you every resource available in this building to determine why Bob Smith is going to call at noon on Friday, or if I told you he's going to call, why is he calling? What's the probability that you could predict why Bob is calling? And pretty much across the board, whether it's in health plans or other industries, agents who have been on the floor for a long time usually say probably about 80% accuracy. If they went on the website to make a payment, then they're likely calling about that. If they filed a claim, then X number of days later, then they're probably calling about that, and so forth and so on. And so using the data and the experiences that occur in the call center to drive the expectation or the anticipation or the calculation on why that person's calling is a huge example of using artificial intelligence to improve the customer experience. Because in the first example I gave, where it's, hey, Bob, are you calling about that explanation of benefits or something else? Bob may not have been calling about the explanation of benefits, but that's sort of not the point. Bob's reaction to that is, hey, there's a good probability or possibility I might have been calling about that because I do remember that explanation of benefits you sent, but I'm calling about something else. But because you knew that and you're not sort of treating me like, the same old IVR, the same old experience every time, I'm going to, in this open-ended prompt, I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for, which is, I haven't seen a premium statement or whatever the particular need is. And their likelihood to engage with automation really impacts the nature of their feeling about the brand and their feeling about interfacing with you, and therefore the overall customer experience. Now, if you remember at the top of this discussion, I said there was two parts. One was customer experience, and the second was customer effort. You can now see, using that particular example, how those two things go together. That the effort that the customer had to go through in communicating with the system what it was looking for is far less. And so if you look at the Effortless Experience book by CEB and Matt Dixon, I think it's probably 2012 is the original publication. One of its premises is that customers choose the channel that they choose based on whichever one is going to take the least amount of effort to get the job done. So if they're calling in and it's the same old IVR every single time, then they're going to see that as a high effort transaction and perhaps even decide to go to an agent. And so melding these two things together and using the data, again, the insights into the data is a key element on how to use artificial intelligence to drive customer experience. So for today, thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to talking to you on the third video.